Good afternoon, everyone. This is Henry. As we get into tonight's video newsletter, I really feel like there are two products that share a very similar level, and they are spots that you have to be aware of as we get into, trade for tomorrow, trade into next week. I actually think that this could be a pivotal level all the way into the summer. So before we start getting into illustrating that, I have just really found it so handy to use ChatGPT for summaries of analysis, for if there's anything you want to learn. This is a very quick way of going about it. But I asked, why is the 618 retracement important in Fibonacci trading? And it goes on to say because it is based on the golden ratio, a mathematical constant that's found throughout nature, architecture, and financial markets. It is important for several different reasons, but the 618 often marks a strong area of support or resistance. Traders around the world use this level, making it something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then really getting to the point here is that it reflects a deep but still healthy correction, and then just kind of making it a very important above or below. And I give you this review of it to point out that that is what was tested today. So I like using these examples with you because the swing high and the swing low that I'm using is very clear. You can do Fibonacci work on smaller swings, but the bigger the move, the more that it's going to tend to be agreed upon. And like it talks about it being that self-fulfilling prophecy here from swing high down into swing low, look at right where we have tested today. Now, when I talk about this having bigger implications in the weeks and months ahead, that is because if you clear the 618 retracement, you set up with 4 targets. The first of which will be the old swing high, and then you see the 3 extensions that follow, the final one being up here at 694. So those are going to be important to watch moving forward. There are always, we could run Fibonacci if we start to pull back to look for support, but the 2 ways I want to give you to follow this are now the 5 and 10 EMA. So that's to say, right now this is resistance, which if cleared will lead to those further up price targets. If tomorrow is down, and it could create some abandonment depending on how it trades, but look at this relationship between the 5 and the 10. Notice where the 5 crosses above the 10, and then when we go down into the 10, you catch a very healthy bid, closing in the upper third of the range, and now gapping up today. So that's basically saying here's one line in the sand. Any pullbacks from it will be met by these rising moving averages, and I will be looking for those to push us up in through that resistance and eventually into those targets. Now from there, the other market I wanted to show you that is against basically the same level is Bitcoin. And there's a few ways to run this. You could do it in the currency pair. Here I'm just looking at the continuous futures contract. And I just wonder if Bitcoin is trying to give us a little bit of a heads up about a risk-on environment. I think most would agree that Bitcoin having a big rally would be risk-on for the broader equity market. And you see how it tested its 618 last week. And that level was respected, staying under it for several sessions. But now today we start to push above and presumably close above that level. So just like the S&P thought process, pushing above that area of resistance opens up the target into 120K for the 1272. And I think that that's going to be very much something to be on top of and aware of as you get into trading through the middle of the year. So, as always, I hope you find the levels and analysis helpful. I think those will be key as we move forward, and hope to continue the conversation with you in the chat room. Hey traders, this is Henry with simplertrading.com. I wanted to thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful, and if so, be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons down below. If you would like to also see me putting these ideas into action and trading my own account live in front of you, be sure to sign up at simplertrading.com, and I hope to see you in the chat room sometime soon.